we have a generation that is, number one, deconstructing to a degree that they don't believe anything they've been told, yet they don't know anything about anything. So it's like, how can you deconstruct something that you don't know enough information about? So I had people that were not famous, but friends of mine, okay, that had been in church for decades, getting divorced, cheating on their spouses, leaving their spouses, and like people with kids, just like leaving, some of them leaving the faith altogether. And it was a painful time. And what was also, wasn't just painful, but it was also like enigmatic in the fact that when you hear their reasons, they're just dumb reasons. And we saw this in some of the famous people's posts, and I wrote about it. They would just say something like they would come out and they would be like, "Hey, I'm leaving the faith. You're not allowed to ask any real questions like, how could God possibly let someone go to hell?" And I'm reading this going like, you've been a Christian for 2 decades and you've never entertained the question how a good God could also demand justice, and like his holiness could demand a punishment for sin. You've never questioned that, and you think that no one questions that?
Yeah.
I mean, like 600 years of books about that. So go read a book. And so then I found it enigmatic, but then it just made me furious, to be honest, because the reason it made me furious is because these people have platforms, and they weren't just saying, guys, I'm going a different path. I'm sorry. I know I've led you this way. I'm sorry. And I'm going away for a while. No. They can't just do that. They have to say, I'm going a different path. Here's the reason Christianity is dumb. God isn't really good. Science is real. It disproves God. Plus LGBTQ. Plus it's mean. Plus this. Blah, 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 blah. And all these people are following them. That's what it was for me. I was like, you are publicly dishonoring the holy name of God. And you know that scripture that says it'd be better for you to tie an anchor around your neck and throw yourself into the sea than to lead little ones astray. It just angered me. I finally got furious, like, all right, if you're going to publicly dishonor God, then I'm going to publicly just say, are you really that dumb? You've never considered those questions before you went into ministry 30 years ago? That's pretty weird stuff. So anyway, that's not really what you asked me, but that was the impetus for that. I just was angry. I was hurt. I was upset, and I felt shepherding, even though I'm not a pastor, but I felt that shepherding sense of, don't lead these little ones astray. We have enough deconstruction problems in millennial culture already. Don't start saying dumb stuff, And so that's why that started. And part of this is, I believe, because of the influencer culture. It's the way that an entire generation never learned how to study and never learned to read. When you read a book, I know this sounds really dumb. Your audience probably thinks I'm the dumbest person in the world.
No.
For anybody listening that doesn't know.
No, they love you. They love you.
Okay. Well, when you read a book, the idea is that the book starts with a premise, and then it opens up into an argument, and it is making a case. And then at the end of the book, you get a conclusion, and then you have to critically think, do I agree with this or not? But we have a generation of people that never learned to make a case and never learned to truly understand a thing, because they live in bite-sized culture. So they can hear a 4-minute TED Talk on any issue in the whole world, economics, a 4-minute TED Talks on why redistribution of wealth is a good thing. And they think they understand it, but you can't understand anything in 4 minutes, right? You can't understand a thing. So we have a generation that is, number one, deconstructing to a degree that they don't believe anything they've been told, yet they don't know anything about anything. So it's like, how can you deconstruct something that you don't know enough information about? And so I kind of view it like this, and I know I'm yakking, but I view it like this. Anybody that's a parent knows this. If you want to teach your kids something, I love woodworking. I'm trying to teach my 15-year-old son how to do woodworking. And so anybody that does woodworking knows You make a measurement before you just start cutting, right? And when you do the pencil line down, or the chalk, you teach your kid, because you've learned that you don't cut directly in the middle of the chalk line. You cut to the right of the chalk line. Otherwise, you're going to be short, right? You have to cut big, if you will. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's like aiming high, if you will, if you're shooting a gun. So you cut to the right of the chalk line. Otherwise, that table's not going to look right. You begin to teach your kid an argument. Well, what we have are kids that never learned why you're supposed to cut to the right of the chalk line, but they're deconstructing it. But they never even learned it. But they're like,
Yes.
I don't think I need to measure. I
Yeah.
don't think I need to, and so that is the reason that I said, don't listen to people like me about eternal truth. I mean, hopefully I'm spreading the gospel, I'm throwing seed, but we need to go back to old wisdom, not what some 20-year-old thinks because they're pretty.
Yeah.